What's going on, guys? Sacred Eagle here, and today I'm going to make a longer video than I normally do. So please, if you do not want to watch a long video from me, then just click off. But if you're here to watch the entire thing, please drop a like and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I make Eagles and NFL related videos daily. And let's get right into this video. So, man, this offseason is going to be something different, guys. It's going to be one of the most interesting Eagles offseason videos, or off-seasons that we're going to get. It's going to be a lot of fun to see what exactly happens, and that's what I'm going to be here talking about right now. Mostly going to be talking about the do's and don'ts. There's a lot of things the Eagles need and a lot of things the Eagles do not need to do because, well, they don't have much room in the cap, along with the fact that they actually need a lot of different tools on both offense and defense. Mostly offense. Defense is pretty strong. If you really look at the basis of our defense, it's just one corner spot. Jalen Mills did a heck of a job as his for a rookie, in his rookie season. Nolan Carroll, meh. Leotis McKelvin was gone. So, in reality, our safeties are pretty much safe right now. There's not much of an issue there. It's mainly our corners that we need to focus on. And what I'm gonna say, draft a corner. That's one thing you got to do, is that you got to draft a corner. And before I even get on with this, majority of this is both off of what I've read and what I believe we need to do. So if you don't agree with me, tell me in the comments down below what you guys think we need to do. Because I'm open to hearing a lot of different ideas, and we all have our own opinions, right? But we need a corner. I feel drafting another corner, giving that another shot in the draft would be a really good thing to do. A big don't, something that we should not do when you really look at it, especially now, this past week, as to what has happened with this one particular wide receiver. I think you can already see where I'm going with this. Kenny Stills. Do not pick him up. Why? Sure, he might be a younger Deshaun Jackson. Sure, he's probably one of the fastest wide receivers, but he's worth $12 million. And I know he had a breakout season last year in Miami, but he ain't worth $12 million. And we shouldn't waste $12 million on him, just to take him for what, a year or two? No. No, that's a waste of time. That's a waste of money. We need to save up as much as we can in the cap because, honest, that's a don't. What do we need to do? We need to get somebody like Deshaun Jackson, and Alshon Jeffrey. We need to get one of those guys or both of those guys, depending on how the free agency goes, how our luck goes. We need to pick up at least one of these guys because, well, Deshaun Jackson, he might come back for a year for like a $6-7 million deal. Alshon Jeffrey, he's worth at least $9 million. Not that much compared to Deshaun Jackson, but neither one of these two wide receivers are worth $12 million alone, like Kenny Stills, in my personal opinion. Kenny Stills, I would take him if he wasn't worth that much, and I'm pretty sure a lot of Eagles fans out there and a lot of NFL analytics and analysts and fans all over the world would agree with me and everyone else when we say he's not worth $12 million. So, do get Deshaun Jackson or Alshon Jeffrey or both, and do not get Kenny Stills. And I touched on this earlier. A big do that the Eagles need to do is focus on the draft. We say this every year because that's where these players come from. We need young players to really step up. And our team is relatively young. When you really look at it, our team isn't really... We don't have that many old people besides, like, maybe Jason Peters, Malcolm Jenkins. He's starting to get up there. There's not that many guys. Darren Sproles. There aren't that many guys that are that old on our team. Everyone's relatively young. Besides those three that I named, they're probably in their 4th or 5th season at high, maybe even 6th. 4th, 5th, or 6th, somewhere around that range, nowhere near close to their, 10th, 11th, or 12th, like Darren Sproles and Jason Peters. That's different. This team, we don't need to rebuild. That's another thing. Donovan McNabb said a few days ago that this is a 3-year rebuilding process. I disagree with that because we have a defense that's already pretty strong, and I'm gonna touch on the I have something to say that I heard on 94 WIP today, but before I get to that, our defense is pretty solid. When you really look at it, our defense was really good or at least a lot better this year. We need a few touch-ups, of course, especially in our secondary. Our front seven, if we can let go of Connor Barwin, maybe Michael Kendricks, that's cool. Get someone else, whatever, that's fine. We don't need that much on defense. It's mainly offense that is our main focal point this offseason. And, yeah, Donovan McNabb, I don't know what you were saying. I don't think this is a 3-year rebuilding process. I'm pretty sure this is a 1 to 2 year, I feel like this offseason and last offseason will really do the trick and at least get us back into being a competitor for the playoffs at minimum, you know what I mean? But what I heard today, I was listening to Angelo Catali in the morning show, WIP. Why wouldn't I be? He was talking about Howie Roseman and how he cuts people that aren't his guy, like Leotis McKelvin, for example. But he keeps guys like Vinny Curry. And when you look at Vinny Curry, you really look at him and you look at his statistics, especially for the past season, 2016, he only had 2 sacks. And apparently he got a contract deal worth like $46 million for 4 or 5 years, $20 million guaranteed, and he was flipping out on that. He pointed that out, and and he went on to say the reason why he's getting paid this much is because he's Howie Roseman's guy. He drafted him, and it makes complete sense. The way that they do it with Howie Roseman, with Jeffrey Lurie, it makes complete sense why they let go of Leotis McKelvin. And they're, trying to get rid of Connor Barwin and all these guys because they're not their guy. But people like Vinny Curry, they are, it's stupid. It's stupid, and I don't like it, I don't like that we have somebody that is not at all worth this much, but we're giving him this much for doing nothing, Imagine if we don't have Vinny Curry. Imagine if we didn't have that much money in the cap, or taking up that much money in the cap. Imagine what we could get for Carson Wentz in a few weeks. We need people, and money given to players like Vinny Curry that aren't doing much. It's not helping the team at all, especially where we need to be helped. I don't know. It's irritating. It's irritating to watch it. Watch them do what they do sometimes. But another don't. And that's, do not let go of Jason Kelce. And you already did a good thing, which is keeping Jason Peters. But something you don't want to do is let go of Jason Kelce. People have been talking about Jason Kelce as if he's not that great a player. He's a good safety. Safety. I need to go to sleep. He's a good center. For how small he is at his position, he's a really good I almost said safety again. Really good center. And then when you bring in Lane Johnson, you saw him when he came back and how different it was for our offensive line to protect Carson Wentz and create holes for Darren Sproles, Ryan Matthews. The change is there. If we keep Lane Johnson, Jason Peters, and Jason Kelce, and just throw in Vaitai and Alan Barber, our offensive line is one of the most decent offensive lines in the entire league. When you really look at it, And I see no issue there. I just see issues wide receivers and running backs. And another do is cut Ryan Matthews. Because I've talked about it before. We don't need Ryan Matthews when he's always injured, when he's inconsistent, when he's fumbling in crucial parts of the game. Might I remind you of Detroit and Minnesota. We almost lost Minnesota, or we almost gave Minnesota a chance to come back because he fumbled in the fourth quarter. We lost Detroit because he fumbled in the fourth quarter with 2 minutes left in the game. Ryan Matthews needs to go. That's a big thing the Eagles need to do, is cut Ryan Matthews. And then another thing that they need to do is draft or get someone at running back in the free agency. That's a given. People are saying to draft, work for the draft, blah, blah, blah. I can agree to that to a certain extent, because it'd be nice to get someone young for the future, but at the same time, we need someone besides Sproles, somebody who is a third down back who is experienced, who can help, because we have a lot of depth at running back. When you really look at it, Kenyon Barner, Wendell Smallwood, your two really young guys, Darren Sproles and then Ryan Matthews. Cut Ryan Matthews and get somebody with more experience, someone who will come here because they, one, want to play here, and two, want to win a championship. They won't, come here for that much money, like say Deshaun, or say Kenny Stills. Somebody like Deshaun Jackson who wants to come to Philly, one, because yes, it's personal, but two, he wants to win a championship, and he's already talking that Carson Wentz doing what he does, he could win a championship here, and that's what Deshaun Jackson is really taking into consideration when coming back to Philly. The rumors about that and stuff. That's why I was saying Jamaal Charles, pretty solid, because I know he's a little banged up. I know he's kind of injury prone. You saw how he did in 2014 and 2013 before his injury. He was tearing it up. I know 2015 and 2016 haven't really been his year, but imagine if he's fully healthy. And I know I'm saying imagine because it's most likely not going to be that easy for him to get like how he was back when he was younger, back in 2013, 2014, before his injuries started to pile up. But just hypothetically, imagine Jamaal Charles in midnight green tearing it up. That'd be pretty cool. LaShawn Jackson, I really need to go to bed. LaShawn McCoy. LaShawn McCoy, we already know he can tear it up in midnight green. So getting him back for however much we want to give him, that's cool too. Latavius Murray, we've already seen him working out with Nelson Aguilar, Carson Wentz saying, quote unquote, oh, I'm just here to help. Clearly, there's more to it than just he's there to help them practice in California. So getting him would be cool too, because he's a younger wide receiver. I'm all over the place. He's a younger running back, and I feel like he'd be a really good fit. Jamaal Charles, he's a really good fit as long as he can be healthy. We already know LaShawn McCoy can fit, so you don't necessarily need to draft a running back. You just need to get somebody you can really work in your system. That's where LaShawn McCoy and Jamaal Charles, in my opinion, fit. I think those are the two guys that the Eagles want to target this offseason at running back. So if you could do that, a big do. Get Jamaal Charles or LaShawn McCoy, And another don't, and I'm going to end it off here because this video is going longer than I expected, but do not trade up in the draft. Trade down. You don't want to trade up right now because there's nothing to trade up for. Unless if you have your eyes set on this one huge wide receiver that is gaining a lot of attention from, say, Cleveland or teams that are below 14, 18, wherever we're going to end up in April. If there is a wide receiver you see in your sights that are being seen in other teams in their sights, like Cleveland, Cleveland, St. Louis, Los Angeles, teams like that, both Los Angeles teams, then it would make sense for you to do that, but at the same time, you don't necessarily have to draft a wide receiver. We already have a lot of young wide receivers. You need to focus on corners, safeties, linebackers, a lot of depth at defense, maybe even get a guard or a tackle or something along those lines, a fullback, something that the Eagles, something that we don't have, something that we really need to focus on for the future as well. That's why I'm saying linemen, linebackers, corners, offensive tackles and stuff like that, So yeah, that's all the do's and don'ts for the Eagles. Tell me in the comments what you think. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great rest of your Tuesday night.